Hey guys, what is up? It is Random Ted. It's been a minute since I uploaded a real video, so we're gonna get right in this one. I'm pretty excited to make it. I think it's gonna be great. So, before I get this started, I'm just gonna say this story I'm about to tell is it happened about a week ago. So, I'm not using any real names. I mean, I asked a couple people if I could use their names, but the two people I would sure would be okay with it, and I'm just making sure in case anyone knows watching this. So, I don't think I've ever talked about it on YouTube, but I'm in Boy Scouts. It's awesome. I like it a lot, and I've become friends with a lot of people I didn't really like before I was in Boy Scouts, and I've gotten to know them through it, so it's pretty great. So, I would probably go on to talk about how people who aren't in it think it's weird, but it's not really what this is about. So, getting to the story, we went camping at this area on some farmland and some woods. It was in December 2nd, so it was pretty cold outside, but not really. It wasn't cold throughout the day, and it didn't get super cold at night either. So my troop has camped here for 25 years, and it's not really just some area in the woods. It's like some clearings and stuff, so it's not absolutely terrible. And so whenever I go on a trip, usually I have this regular squad of people that go, and I guess you could say a squad, but no one that's usually in that squad went except for Colin. But I'm more or less friends with everyone else who's in Scouts. So Colin said I could use their names, so shout out to him. I could use his name, so shout out to him for that. And I stayed in a tent with Colin because he's cool, and he had no one staying with him, and I kind of planned to anyway. So I'm a 7th grader, or at least I was when I went camping and made this video. And I was the only 7th grader there besides Steve, but more on him later. Colin is in 8th grade, and there were 3 other 8th graders there. They're all pretty funny also, and they were camping close to us, especially Ben. Ben was right next to us, and they were across. They were the other 8th graders who were both in a tent, weren't really that far. So there was a decent sized pond. They were at the edge of the pond, not really, and then kind of at the edge of the pond, but not really. So there was a decent sized pond close to where we were camping, and this is in December, so water gets very, very cold in December. So you could walk all the way around the pond, and then it would just lead into the woods. But say it was about 30 or so feet wide. And Colin and I decided it would be funny to mess with Steve and build a raft and send a shoe out of the pond. It would be just kind of funny. And we decided just to send one shoe and not more than one shoe, because it would be funnier if he had just one shoe and it'd be harder to build a raft. It was just easier and it was funnier. So we got some people involved, and some guy whose name will be John started to wrestle Steve so he should take his shoe. They all liked wrestling, I guess. It's not a regular thing we do, and it worked. And his shoe was sailing around in a boat shortly after. I guess you call it a boat. It was we made it out of like a sandwich container, like one of the little plastic things that you would put a sandwich in, and it works, I guess, because of the air bubbles. It was kind of weird. I don't know how to describe it, and it took him about 5 minutes to get the shoe out, and it was completely dry, so it wasn't a big deal at all. And then so it wasn't a big deal. No, he wasn't mad. He thought it was funny, kind of. The second time he got mad, but I'll get back to that. I wasn't supposed to bring that up. So he decided to do it again, and he got more mad this time, but he was not falling for anything. So John kept trying to pull off his shoe when he was sitting down or something like that, but he would just get kicked in the face. Every time he got kicked in the face like 3 times. But after a while, Steve wrestled John again, and Colin and the 2 other 8th graders besides Ben were they were like walking around the woods. Ben was there though, so Steve started to wrestle John again. I just put it in the water, and because I tested out with my shoe, and it would just float because of all the stuff on the bottom, and it just floated. But then all the 6th graders, there's a couple of 6th graders, they were trying to help him get it out. I think the 6th graders that were there were the 6th graders that were trying to get it out were John and Nick, but they flipped it upside down and it got really, really wet, and Steve was really mad at this point, but we were all laughing, and John tried to get Steve and tell him that he wasn't part of it, and that was pretty annoying. And for some reason, despite John attempting to pull it off multiple times, Steve believed him and took his side. So at this point, John, Steve, and the 6th grader named Nick I mentioned a minute ago decided they had to mess with us somehow, even though it was very dumb. So us being me, Colin, and Ben, just because they decided to mess with Ben, so they were gonna go into our tent and mess with stuff, and after an hour we we hear them just digging around. Like, they went out to Ben, who was in the tent next to us. Me and Colin were in our tent, along with 2 other 8th graders. And he said, they asked if we were there, and Ben said no, just because it was funny. And they started shaking our tent and say, let's check. And ate, like, a bunch of food still out. And then we were, like, kind of laughing, and they heard us. And then they, like, started messing with Ben, and we weren't having any of that, because you don't mess with Ben. And, so Nick, we got out of the tent, and Nick just runs at Colin and tackles him, because he plays football, and I guess that makes him, he thinks he's good at tackling. I mean, I guess he's okay, but that doesn't mean you can tackle anyone you want, especially when there's a 2-year age gap. So Colin just kind of, like, shoved him over. And then John pushed Colin over, and I pushed John. So Colin grabbed John's shoe and passed it to me, and I said, stop tackling and pushing people, or I will throw the shoe in the water. And, no one can guess what, Sean does. No one can guess what Nick does, except, he went ahead and tried to tackle my leg, and I just tossed it in the pond because we were next to it. And then Nick decided he got away. I started to walk away, and then Neil thought he was tough, and he runs up to me from behind and just tackles me and tries to pin me down. And I wasn't really having that, so I flipped him over, and I had him stomach down pressed against the ground for about 2 minutes. And I said, I warned him to stop, or else it would not be good, and let him go. And then they stopped bothering us after that, and we kind of all got over it kind of quickly. But it was pretty funny. And it was just a fun experience. No one really hates each other. We're not mad at each other anymore. We got over it by that night, because this is kind of late in the day. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to check out my streams when I'm doing them, and yeah, leave a comment if you want more videos like this. Leave a comment for any kind of video you want. Leave a comment on the Q&A. I got a Twitter link to that will be in the description. So yeah, make sure to follow me on that. And I will see you next time. I'm going to start uploading videos again. So I'll see you next time with another video, and peace.